affordable drugs from other countries, putting dramatic downward pressure on prices. Companies, and we'll in particular investigate the countries that are doing this, and we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it onto tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize. Everybody should pay the same price. And special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people. I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders, I think, that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And I'd like to ask Robert F. Kennedy to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Now, I'm just coming in, but I've been watching this. Donald Trump, by the way, it's May 12th, 2025, here in the United States. He has just turned the pharmaceutical industry upside down. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he also is claiming that he's going to create or give the opportunity for the Republicans to create a healthcare system. Now, we know the Demoncrats are in the pockets of Big Pharma. We know that there's some Rhipiglicans that are in the pockets of Big Pharma. But I will say this, he's tired of it. He really gives a shit about people. And a lot of the people in Congress, a lot of the monsters in Congress and the corrupt criminals in Congress, they don't care. All they care about is aligning their pockets. And this will piss off some people because the people in Congress that are already corrupted. Let's listen to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. goes right off the bat after Bernie and the fucking Big Pharma team.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
By the way, this is happening now, so I'm going to catch up with this as it moves on.
This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy.
But nothing happened.
Between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises
none of them were doing anything.
Make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do
Yep.
it. And the reason they'll never have to do it
Yep.
is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh.
There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator in Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3.
What?
Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was
just out of control.
This was an issue that people talked about.
Bernie knows it. Elizabeth Warren knows it. They all know it.
It was radioactive.
And they all accept it,
couldn't get
except
by
for these
Congress.
people.
We now have
Trump's sick of it.
a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry, too. I think they gave you $100 million. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs.
Yes, Robert Reich is such a piece of shit.
Donald Trump.
Such a little piece of
I'm
shit.
very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage.
Great he brought that
I don't
fucker
wanna
up.
be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the
What the hell's going on here?
pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
We spend in our country $1,126 per capita on drugs, In Britain, they spend about 240, 1/5 of what we do. And this is true across Europe. And the drug companies, Europeans, if you ask them, it made no sense what they were saying. America has to pay for this innovation or it's not going to happen. President Trump is saying to our European partners is you got to raise the amount that you're paying for those drugs and pay for your share of the innovation. That the United States is no longer subsidizing that. If the Europeans raise the price of their drugs by just 20%, that is $10 trillion that can be spent on innovation, and the health of all people all across the globe is going to increase because we're going to have better products. So,
better products, I hope, meaning more natural and holistic products, because that's really starting to hit YouTube and everywhere right now. I'm seeing it constantly, but you still have your Banacta and Climacor and all this other Ozempic and all this other shit that basically methodically, deteriorates your body and kills you. So this is a good sign. Hopefully they can manage it.
I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime. I have a couple of kids who are Democrats, are big Bernie Sanders fans. And when I told them that this was going to happen, they had tears in their eyes.
Yeah.
Because they thought this is never going to happen.
They don't get it. The illegitimate Biden administration was just complete proof that they're a tyrannical, authoritarian, predator class type supporter for the globalists. That's all they did is follow the instructions of Klaus Schwab and Yuval Harari and the World Health Organization and Bill Gates and all these fucking eugenics weirdos, genocidal weirdos. And there's plenty of proof in what I exactly just said. Plenty of it. It's so much, you have to create another file cabinet. It's crazy.
Lifetime, and we finally have a president who's willing to stand up for the American people. Thank you, and Dr. Oz.
Thank you. Absolutely. Let's hear it, Oz.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation. And it's only happening because we have a president with the fortitude, the guts to stand up to the withering criticism and lobbying that's going to occur as soon as folks hear about the executive order. So on behalf of the child and
Yep, the lobbyists are going crazy, but it all comes through other countries. If everybody participates, right, then you'll get your whatever you think you need drug. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are probably some drugs out there that are very helpful. That I don't take anything, nothing. Honestly, I just take pure filtered water, eat well, and pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. Anyway, yeah, let's listen.
Philadelphia who's got an autoimmune disease with a $1,000 a month drug, or the older woman in Los Angeles who's on a blood thinner who can't afford her copay. I want to thank President Trump. God bless you for having the guts to take on this industry. Thank you, sir. So let's talk about the details a little bit. And this is primarily about equalization, as President Trump said. It's about fairness.
Let's talk about the details.
When President Trump said, you've got to pay a little more.
I'm making potatoes, so I'll be right back.
And the European countries contributed. The same thing we believe will happen in this situation. Most people who have thought about this process agree that it is patently unfair to tolerate the numbers that Secretary Kennedy and President Trump have reflected to you. On this chart to my left is a list of the 10 drugs that were negotiated in the IRA. Again, this is the bill, the law, that regulates a negotiation process. This is the best price that was able to be obtained by the Biden administration. And if you look at these numbers, they actually reflect how much on top of the most favored nation price was being paid by the United States. So the closest to me, Bob, you can point to the Jardian closest one, 289%, the one that's closest to you. That means that we are paying in America 4 times more than that drug costs in other countries. Again, 100% is the baseline. It's 289% above that baseline. It goes all the way down to when we're paying 50% more than any other country. That's the range. As was pointed out by President Trump, half the time we're paying 3 times more than is paid in other countries. It doesn't make any sense for the system. That stated, President Trump has over and over again indicated, and Secretary Kennedy reflected as well, we want innovation. We want our technology partners doing the best they can to make the best solutions for drugs that cure as many people in America and around the world as possible.
They don't cure anybody, Dr. Oz, just letting you know. That they're not curing anything.
By getting our allies to pay a bit more, as they should be, and they should have for many years been doing, will course correct a problem that's gotten out of hand.
Look at Caroline in the back. She's so cute.
And by doing that in a thoughtful, effective way, we're going to be able to get the pharmaceutical industry whole. Those jobs will still be here, will still be productive, will still be curing cancer and a slew of other ailments that plague humanity. America will still be the leader in this space, but we'll be paying the appropriate amount, the right-sized amount for those tasks. So over the next 30 days, the 4 of us up here.
Did you say curing cancer? Oh, John Hopkins will hate that. Right? All these fucking hospitals will hate that. They'll hate it. Because that's how they make their money. When you cure something that severe, that terrible, and enormously plaguing upon the American and world population, you're really fucking up a giant industry. Big pharma, big hospital, big elderly care, big psychology, just all kinds of, it just continues.
Here, together with people standing in the back of this room who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, are going to be approaching pharmaceutical companies to talk specifically about what we want the most favored nation price to be based on the best data we have. We're looking forward to a thoughtful interaction with these corporate leaders, many of whom we've spoken to and in quiet will agree the system is not right the way it is. They're patriotic Americans. They want what's right. But the fact that in my lifetime, as Secretary Kennedy said, for the first time, we have a thoughtful and aggressive approach, thanks to President Trump, on taking on the
thoughtful and aggressive approach. I think that's probably the best way to describe the man. And I'm telling you right now, the mainstream media, the Democrats, have been just doing whatever they can to paint a dark picture around this man for a long fucking time. And it happened. Remember, if you're paying attention, if you're really paying attention, it happened as soon as he ran for president. He was loved. He was this, The Apprentice, all this other stuff. He was on Oprah. He was on everything. Everybody praised and loved this guy just coming in. He was a great businessman. Wasn't perfect. Just had some good information every once in a while. He was kind of like the Bill Gates back then, but with more charisma, better, just a more charisma, better personality. And he was a hot topic and raised ratings. And then he tossed his name into the hat to run for president, and they go, oh no, we can't have somebody that's not from the duopoly. We can't have somebody that's not part of the deep state. We can't have somebody that's going to ruin our revenue, our money laundering, our corruption, our coercion, our co-ops, all the crap that they've created, this dark, demonic side of Congress, the capital of this United States. It's there. And whoever comes out against this or anything similar, like Robert Reich, who's just a fucking one of the demonic minions out there. He's just a disgusting little creep. Just disgusting little creep.
These special interests, should give all Americans confidence that this is an administration that stands for fairness, and it should chill the waters for those who believe they can push us away from our North Star, which is to take care of the American people. Mr. President, God bless you. Jay, you want to go next?
Let's hear Jay.
So I teach economics at Stanford as well as health policy. And one thing that's really, really simple in economics is that when you have a persistent price difference for the same product between two countries, there is something deeply wrong. And what President Trump has done is a historic measure that should have been done a long time ago. What we're going to do is make sure that those prices become much closer to equal, like a competitive market you'd expect. Right now what's happening is the American people are subsidizing in large fractions.
This little guy on the right, the little Mexican guy. I got to tell you this, though. When you watch these guys all stand together, and I don't know if you've ever tried this, but I want you to stand in one place and talk for 1 minute. And then I want you to try to do it for 2. And then I want you to try to do 45 minutes. Right? And then stand next to somebody who's just standing there. So you're just doing nothing. And you learn how to stand in the military. Because a lot of people will pass out. They'll lock their knees, cut off circulation, and pass out. It's happened many times. I'm just saying, everybody's fidgety, everybody's moving around. It happens. But I know this is kind of an off point. But Trump stands there and does the fucking job. I don't think I've ever seen Biden do anything for more than like 20-something minutes. That was just a shamble and an illegitimate presidency, which it'll be proven. It'll be proven. Just, sometimes I like being right and sometimes I hate being right. But in that particular situation, I'm going to love being right when it's revealed that Joe Biden was an illegitimate presidency completely from the very beginning, thanks to their setup of Fluvid-19.
The research and development efforts for drug companies around the world by the higher prices that we pay. With this new order, Europe will share the burden of that. And in fact, if you may think of it as like as somehow it's going after drug companies, actually it's helping drug companies. Because what we're also going to do with this order, what President Trump has done with this order, is he's said to European governments, look, if you are taking advantage of the drug companies by forcing them to charge very, very low prices, we're going to defend American drug companies in Europe. At the same time, we're standing up for the American consumer who's been paying far too high prices for far too long. I can go back decades to point to congressional reports after government report after government report of tremendously high drug prices, much higher than the rest of the world, and nothing has been done about it until this moment. And I'm really, really proud, President Trump, that you've done this. I'm really proud to be included in this and looking forward to the work ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the many doctors I've talked to about this very issue, thank you for taking the bull by the horns. Presidents on both sides of the aisle.
Oh, I like this guy
this
already.
Floated it and said they wanted to do it, so you've had the courage to do it.
I like the hair. He's got good hair.
I've been a surgical oncologist at Johns Hopkins for 22 years, and I have seen patients suffer. We didn't take an oath to heal patients and then watch their life get ruined financially with their home, mortgage, retirement, going down the drain with GoFundMe campaigns, raising money from church communities and synagogues and friends they haven't seen in 20 years.
Again, this is the buildup of a healthcare system that's coming. It's coming. They have to do a lot of things right now. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of fraud, a lot of abuse, a lot of criminal activity that's now being put together. The gavel's got to be strong. It's going to come soon. There's going to be a lot of Demoncrats going down, handcuffed to federal prison. That's why he's opening up Alcatraz, so you can all see him and you can still do the tour to see your favorite Democratic congressperson in there. And I'm telling you, if you think this guy's going to fucking do it. They are so afraid of this man. And he's going to do it for good cause. And it's going to be unequivocally proven without a shadow of a doubt that there are at least, I would say 38 to 40% of the Capitol Hill is just plagued with criminal corruption, felonious criminal corruption, and it's just going to happen. There may be a few people that he knows pretty closely.
To try to raise money for what? For a system where Americans have been getting ripped off by 10, 12, 15 times higher prices than we see in other countries? The fundamental problem in healthcare is that we've had non-competitive markets. We can do little things around the edges, or we can transform those markets.
Dr. Shiva has talked about that.
Markets to competitive markets, and that's what this executive order does today. Imagine buying a Ford for $170,000.
Yeah, look, that Trump gives it. Come on, you little fuck, get on with it.
$5,000, a regular car, and then hearing that people in London are buying it for $10,000 every day, all day long.
Oh, fuck.
That
That's
is the
messed up.
craziness of this system. We're going to do everything we can at the FDA to support this executive order. It's transformative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Keep it short and simple.
So thank you very much, everybody. I think it's a very important day. In many ways, you have, we'll start with the Houthis. We go to Pakistan and India. We go to what we did with China, the trade deal, and with UK. And by the way, many other deals are coming in very much. At a certain point, we'll just set the price because we know where we are. But we'll just set the price.
Just
But world
fucking
trade
huge.
is going to be
Everything
terrific,
this
and
guy's doing is helping. Anything that comes from a Facebook or Twitter or Robert Reich or Elizabeth Warren or Schiff or all these fucking criminals, they're just criminals. I've done the research. They're all full of shit. It's, Obama and Big Mike. It's just crazy. They don't give a fuck. And there are some Republicans out there that don't give a fuck too. I'm not saying that. But I would say definitely 92.3% of the Democratic Party are demons. Not literal demons. They're just fucking loopy. What is a woman? It's whatever somebody says they are. They can't even fucking answer the question. That's nuts. Nuts. Craziness. Absolute and total fucking crazy. And if you got people like that serving to lead this country in some capacity in the Capitol, Congress, legislator, representative, Senate official, whatever, judge, right? Legislative, judiciary, and executive branch, whatever. If you have somebody that can't tell you the difference between a man and a woman, you get that fucking person out. How could you ever give somebody any power if they can't explain the difference between a man and a woman, or at least say what a woman is? But for some reason they can say what a man is. Isn't that weird? No, it's not weird. It's clinically insanity. Clinical insanity, insane asylum level. Those fucking people should not be anywhere near a position of power or making any laws. And if you're voting for somebody like that, maybe you should look at yourself as well. Right? And I don't have to say, but I care about the gays and this. Of course I do. I want them to do whatever they want to do. Right? But you guys have got to keep it away from the fucking kids. Just keep it away. Let the kids grow up first. Let them make their own decisions when they get older. And they've lived life a little bit. Maybe after they're adults, instead of grooming them, like I keep saying, go check out gaysagainstgroomers.com. Great information in there. Right? I'm all for, dick and dick and hole in hole. It's whatever you want to do. That's your prerogative, but keep it away from the kids. And don't expect everybody to want to go in that direction. It's not, people have dad, people have fun, people play around. I get it when you're young, or whatever, But just leave the fucking kids out of it. Okay, let's go back to it.
Our country is going to be making a lot of money. Taxes are going to go down. Taxes are going to go down very, very substantially. But you look at all of the things that we've done, and now today I'm heading over. We'll see what we're going to do with respect to Iran. I think you have very good things happening there,
This
too,
guy
by
just
the way.
keeps going, man. I swear to God.
Can't have a nuclear weapon, but I think that they are talking intelligently. We're in the midst of talking to them, and
Uh-oh.
they're
Hold on.
right now acting very intelligent. We want
I'll
Iran
be
to
back.
be wealthy and wonderful and happy and great, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. So I think they understand that I mean business, and I think they're being very reasonable thus far. And
This guy does not fuck
don't
around.
underestimate
People don't
Thursday in
understand.
Turkey.
It's just the guy fucking gets
President
shit done.
Erdogan is going to be a great host, and we are doing some work with him having to do with Syria, too, by the way. We're going to have to make a decision on the sanctions, which we may very well relieve. We may take them off of Syria because we want to give them a fresh start. But President Erdogan's asked me about that. Many people have asked me about that because the way we have them sanctioned, it doesn't really give them much of a start. So we want to see if we can help them out. So we'll make that determination. But I think you're going to have maybe a good meeting. You have the potential for a good meeting, that a meeting wasn't going to take place. I insisted that that meeting take place. And it is taking place. And I think you may have a good result out of the Thursday meeting in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine. And I believe the two leaders were going to be there. I was thinking about flying over. I don't know where I'm going to be on Thursday. I've got so many meetings. But I was thinking about actually flying over there. There's a possibility of it, I guess, if I think things can happen. But we got to get it done. We got to save 5,000 lives a week. 5,000 lives is really more than that. It's worse than that. And when you see and you don't want to see it, but when you see the satellite photographs of the battlefield with arms and legs and heads all over the place, separated by 30 yards from bodies, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So we're working very hard to see if we can end that bloodbath. Okay, there shouldn't be too many questions. It's been covered pretty well.
Mr. President, thank you for taking questions. Two quick ones for you, starting on trade. If a longer-term deal is not reached with China at the end of these 90 days, can the American people expect those tariffs to go back up to 145%?
No, but they would go up substantially higher.
Okay, and then on
You know, at 145, you're really decoupling because nobody's going to buy. But they can go, they got very high because of additional tariffs I applied during the course because of fentanyl and other things. But no, but they'd go substantially higher. Yeah.
and then on Qatar, Mr. President,
I think you will have a deal, however.
okay, you're confident that there will be a deal. On Qatar, has Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet? And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. We have an Air Force One that's 40 years old. And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, stature at the time, it's not even the same ballgame. You look at some of the Arab countries and the planes they have parked alongside of the United States of America plane, it's like from a different planet. And it's close to 40 years old, might be more than 40 years old now. And we, when I first came in, I signed an order to get it built. I took it over from the Obama administration. They had originally agreed. I got the price down much lower. And then when the election didn't exactly work out the way that it should have, a lot of work was not done on the plane because a lot of people didn't know. They made change orders that were so stupid, so ridiculous. And it ended up being a total mess, a real mess. And when I came back, I said, by the way, what's going on with the Boeings that are coming in? Well, sir, they're way behind. And they are. They're way behind.
Love
they were
that.
Way behind.
ABC
Another mess
is a
that I inherited
disaster.
from Biden. And it's going to be a while before we get them. And I think Qatar, who has really, we've helped them a lot over the years in terms of security and safety. I think they, and very, very nicely, and I have a lot of respect for the leadership and for the leader, Qatar. And I think they very nicely.
This guy just fucking keeps going. I'm telling you, you're good luck.
And they knew about it, and they
Good
said,
luck
we would
trying
like to
to
do something, and
keep up with
if
this
we can
dude.
get a
He gets up at like
7:47
4:30 in
as
the
a
morning, goes to
contribution
sleep
to
at
the
like
Defense
10:30,
Department.
11,
2
and he gets up
years during
and just
a
starts
couple of years
going.
they're building the other ones.
You can't
I
keep
think
up
that
with
was a
this
very
man.
nice
I'm
gesture.
telling
Now,
you right now.
I could be a
He's
stupid
a fucking
person and say,
machine.
oh, no, we don't want a free plane.
It's-
Free things. We'll take one too.
Good luck.
And it helps us out because again, we're talking about
Just continuous. I
40-year-old
mean,
aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy top.
by the way, this is
is
kind of
astronomical.
pre-recorded.
You
It's,
wouldn't even
it's
believe
off
it.
by about
So I think it's a great gesture.
20,
for
30 minutes,
Qatar.
just so
I
you know.
appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person, say, no, we don't want a free, very
He could be a
expensive
stupid
airplane.
person, but he's not.
But I thought it was a great gesture, and I think it was a gesture because of the fact that we have helped and continue to. We will continue.
This
to
gets better
all of
when
those
the
countries,
press
Saudi Arabia,
starts asking
UAE,
stupid fucking questions,
Qatar, and others. We keep them safe.
leading
If it wasn't for us,
questions,
they probably wouldn't
narrative type
participate.
questions.
And I think
He
this was
just
a
fucking
gesture of good faith.
demolishes them.
And
It is
I don't get
epic.
it. Someday it'll be like Ronald Reagan. They decommission them. You know, they
Dude's
get
a
to certain
fucking-
age, they decommission them.
Dude's
It'll
a-
go to my library.
this is a s-
They're talking
okay.
about going to my library in years out.
All right, this is
But,
important for
I thought
people
it
to
was a
know. I'm going to
great
tell you right
gesture.
now. Donald Trump is in the senior class of high school. And the reason why I say that is your freshman year, your sophomore year, your junior year, you're kind of getting it. And then here comes your junior and senior. He's kind of in his junior, senior year right now. So now he's just crushing it. He's got everything done. He knows what the fuck's going on.
As you know, so when I met
That was
with
about
the hostages
ceasefire.
3 weeks ago that were
She
there
just
for quite
asked.
a while. You remember
Sorry.
the 10 people that came in, mostly young people. 1 or 2 were a little bit older. They were explaining the trials and tribulations. I mean, they went through hell. And
be
I said,
back.
how many are there? They said 59. I said, that's a lot. I didn't realize, because we got a lot out. You know, we got a lot of hostages out, I think you will acknowledge. They said 59, but then they said, they followed that up by saying 59, of which 24 are living, the rest are dead. But the people whose son, mostly son, I think 1 daughter in this case, but mostly sons are there, or husbands are there. Those people want the dead bodies as much as they want the live body. I have a mother that calls me, but came up to me when I first met her, and she said, sir, please get my son out. He's dead, but they have his body. And I asked her about that, and it's as though he were alive. The level of wanting that body back is the same. It couldn't be any more, as though he were alive. So, getting the bodies back is very important. That could be a thing having to do with the religion. It could be same. I was amazed at the level of importance. It's the same as if the son or husband or whatever was alive. So they said 59. In fact, they came in with a number 59 written out on like a sign on their chest. They came to thank me for getting them out. And I said, what does the 59 mean? They said, well, that means there are 59 people. But then they said, but 24 are living. Now it's 21. The number's 21. So now it's actually, we'll get Etan today. We think we're getting him today. So it's 20. So they have 20 live hostages there. The rest are dead bodies.
Mr. President, are you open to negotiating your tariffs on cars, steel, and aluminum with China or any other country?
Well, we're not even talking about that. We're bringing the car business back into this country. We have commitments, and not only commitments, they've already started construction on many plants. They've left Mexico in a few cases. In a few cases, they've left Canada. They're not going to build in Canada. They're going to build here because we have the market, and the tariffs have been amazing. The election and the tariffs. November 5th was a big day, and on top of that, of course, you wouldn't have the tariffs without the election, I guess, if you look at it. But we have at least 11 committed massive car factories that are going to be built, that are in the process of being built. And some are going through, some have actually started. We also have renovations of existing factories where they weren't utilizing the full factory from years gone by, and now they're under full renovation. They'll be opening up full factories in a very short period of time. Our car industry is, I think we're going to have the #1 industry. You know, if you look at Japan and these others, they do tremendously with cars, and they can do that too. But you know, if they want to sell cars in the United States, they're going to have to build factories in the United States, because I'm interested in cars for the United States. Now, one other thing is, in our tax bill, we're giving not only no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, but also we're going to get a deduction for people that borrow money to buy a car if it's made in America. If it's not, we have no interest.
Mr. President, on the meeting with, between President Putin as well as President Zelensky, if President Putin doesn't show up to these talks in person in Turkey, will you join Europe in putting higher sanctions on Russia?
If I felt it would be important toward getting the deal done, I'm the one that insisted on the meeting. They couldn't get a meeting because one said ceasefire, one said no ceasefire. It was going back and forth. I said, look, at this point, we got to stop it. Just go to the meeting. The meeting's been set. Go to the meeting on Thursday. And if I thought it would be helpful, I don't know where I'm going to be at that particular point. I'll be someplace in the Middle East, but I would fly there if I thought it would be helpful. Yeah, please.
Refugees. I want to ask you about South African refugees. Dozens of Afrikaners who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States,
Right.
where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, you know, we're supposed to have I guess, a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you. Are you letting China off the hook for these 90 days, and do you really believe that they will follow through with non-tariff barriers and remove those?
Non-monetary tariffs, yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to follow through. I think they want it very badly. I think they want the deal very badly. Again, this doesn't include the steel tariffs that I put on a long time ago that Biden tried to get off, but he couldn't get them off because it was too much money. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, what a lot of people don't know, but we put on the tariffs originally. And if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have a steel industry today. Now we have a thriving steel industry. It'll be thriving much more with what we're doing because this is the next level. But it doesn't include that, doesn't include cars, doesn't include pharmaceuticals when we do that. And the reason we're doing that will be to get them to come back in the country. You know, there are, again, I always say it because a lot of people forget, but if a company like Eli Lilly, which is making a massive investment in the United States right now, they're building many, many plants. They've already started like 7 of them, many plants, but they are not going to be tariffed. There's no tariff cost. So they're all doing that. They're all coming back to the United States. I mean, I'll tell you what, I hope I get the benefit of watching this because, as president, because, you know, it takes a little while to do this stuff. And we're doing it early in the administration. If you think of it, we have, I believe, if you look at the real total, it's over $10 trillion committed for plants and factories. Other administrations haven't had $1 trillion over a 4-year period, even over an 8-year period. We have over $10 trillion committed in one form or the other over 2 months. give me a break. I'm here 3, but let's give me a break on the first month. We want to get acclimated. But, but if you think about it, it's really 2 months. And so in 2 months, we have an investment already of over $10 trillion. And other presidents haven't had that done over a year, over 4 years in some cases. It's unprecedented. There's never been anything like it. It's a very exciting time in America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Who's in charge of the budget bill while you're gone, sir?
I'll sign that, yeah.
Mr. President, are you ready to impose sanctions on Russia if Putin doesn't agree with the 30-day
I have a
ceasefire?
feeling they're going to agree. I do. I have a feeling.
And who's in charge of the budget bill?
Let's see what happens.
No European countries
Mr.
will
Who's
be
in charge of the
involved,
budget
Mr.
bill
President, in the
negotiations while you're
negotiations.
The budget bill negotiations are taking place. Who in your administration is in charge of that while you're gone? Is it
Everybody,
JD
and
Vance,
Bobby,
Scott
from the
Bessent?
standpoint of medical, this group behind me, I mean, I think it's the best group ever assembled. In terms of medical, I think you're going to see a tremendous cut. I don't think, I mean, I know you're going to see it in Medicaid and Medicare. That cut will be massive because drugs are 50–60% of the cost. So Medicaid costs are going down and Medicare costs are going down because of what we're doing today. And there's no, it's not like, oh, gee, well, maybe it won't happen. It's going to happen because the other countries have no choice. Now, the drug companies are going to have to say, listen, if you don't pay more, we're not going to give you the drug, and they're willing to do that. So that's it. They have to, we have to equalize.
Mr. President, what is price controls?
Say it?
How do you respond to the fact that this?
It's not price control, no. What was, price control is before. If you want to talk about, price control is what they were doing. They were making us pay. They set a price, and they said, here's what we're going to pay, and anything else charge America. Because at that time, they had a very stupid president, and it really went crazy during the last 4 years. And remember this, the Democrats are the ones that allowed this to happen. They were the ones that were the protector of this pricing system. And I think it's going to be very hard. You'll have to ask Democrats, are they going to vote against the one great, big, beautiful deal that's being negotiated now, tax cuts, et cetera? We're now on top of the tax cuts and regulation cuts, all the things. Now you're going to say that the price of your medicine is going down by 60, 70, 80%. You're going to vote against it? I think a lot of Democrats are going to be forced to do something that their leaders are going to beg them not to do, and that's vote for the bill. I don't see how they can vote against it. How can they vote against it when drug prices, drugs and pharmaceuticals are going to be down 70, 80%? It's going to be very interesting.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
Because
not?
only ABC, well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto, when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the bill. Bobby, come on over here. Now you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, a quick question about Turkey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
and allies. They have been the most forthcoming in terms of doing the deals. As I mentioned, Vice President Vance was in India last week. I think that he and Modi made some very good progress, so I could see some announcements on India. I could see the contours of a deal with the Republic of Korea coming together, and then we've had substantial talks with the Japanese.
Andrea? Secretary Bessent, just continuing on the path of the sort of like progress. You said yesterday, I think, that it was could happen as early as this week or possibly next week. Can you give us a bit of a timetable? And then I wanted to ask about South Korea specifically. They've said that they probably won't be able to make a comprehensive deal until early July because of their elections. Japan also has elections. And to what extent are domestic factors complicating your efforts? Canada just had an election. You know, are you seeing that you might have to think about delaying the 90 days?
Well, I would actually take the opposite tack, that I think from our talks that these governments actually want to have the framework of a trade deal done before they go into elections to show that they have successfully negotiated with the United States. So we are finding that they are actually much more keen to come to the table, get this done, and then go home and campaign on it.
Sean?
I'm sorry, did you have a comment on whether something could happen this week or next week? For a deal. So, you know, you said yesterday.
Again, I think that we are very close on India. And in India, just a little inside baseball, India, in a funny way, is easier to negotiate with than many other countries because they have very high tariffs and lots of tariffs. So it's much easier to confront the direct tariffs when as we go through these unfair trade deals that have been put in over decades, that the non-tariff trade barriers can be much more insidious and also harder to detect. So a country like India, which has the posted and ready tariffs, it's much easier to negotiate with them. So I think the India negotiations are moving well.
Sean, go
Hi,
ahead.
Mr. Secretary. So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect, crystal clear demonstration that...
Go ahead.
Secretary Bessent, thank you. Investments from the biggest companies and countries in the world are pouring in under this president. So far, total investment commitments under the Trump administration have reached more than $5 trillion, including $500 billion from Apple in U.S.-based manufacturing and training.
That's old. All right. So he comes in.
And well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer.
Sam Snead.
And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received
It's
anything?
not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense.
Listen, this is my favorite part right here.
And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
Yes!
Bill Bundy,
Yes! Oh, I want to fucking play that again. Oh my God.
Some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received anything?
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the Bill. Bobby, come on over here.
Ah, yeah, baby. All right. There you go. There you go. All right, listen up, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Uh-oh, where am I? I'm somewhere. Thank you very much for watching. It's very simple. The the mainstream media wants you to for you to continue to believe that this man is the most monstrous, heinous, terrible everything on the planet, but he's not. He's basically the opposite. And there's lots of influencers out there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, X, TikTok, blah, 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 that are just doing whatever they can, because they're still getting paid for it, to make this guy look like he's terrible. He's wrong. He's da-da-da-da. But they can't. It's what's going to happen, and I'm going to tell you now, as I look at my pack of Lucky Lights, candy cigarettes. Can't believe I bought these either. It's so funny. Things I used to do when I was a kid. But he's going to prove unequivocally that the last administration was completely illegitimate. J6 was illegitimate. We're going to have less of these freaking genocidal bioweapon vaccines. It's just going to get better. And people are going to live longer and be happier. I am concerned about waste management, though. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm talking about chemicals, pollution. I want the drilling to be as safe. I mean, if you can catch a rocket booster in a pair of chopsticks that's about 10 stories high, the booster is, then you can probably make something extremely fail-safe and very safe for our oceans. Because stepping on a fucking oil turd sucks. I know. I've done it in California many times. It looks like a big black turd on the ground, and you can't see it sometimes. You step on it, and then the only way to clean it off, you got to use gasoline or turpentine, because it's pure grease, pure crude oil. You know, which you could probably take home and maybe turn it into regular gas. Anyway, but here's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be very bad within the next year or two, for sure. Extremely. Like, the Demoncratic Party will not exist. The duopoly may hopefully disappear, because he's not part of that. He doesn't want to be part of it. People are saying that he is, and da-da-da-da. But what he just did to the pharmaceutical company, and what he's doing with the tariffs, and what he's doing for the country is just tremendous. And people don't understand how much we've been ripped off 10, 15 times, 20-fold for everything from other countries. It's fair that they rip us off and we not do anything for that? No. That money has been quietly and slowly and redirected back to Demoncrats and Rhipigglicans. USAID was great proof of how that worked. USAID, I meant to say. And another great money laundering scam was Ukraine. One of the biggest. But the biggest that's still working out there is the 9/11 and the military-industrial complex. It just keeps getting a shit ton of money. I want that money to go to the people. I want it to go to the actual soldiers that are out there busting their butts 12 on, 12 off, you know, defending our country from all the friends we've made all over the world for the past few decades at least. Anyway, this is James with Montauk. Thanks for watching. You know, when this guy comes on live on Mondays, I think I'm going to start doing that now, for at least because I got some extra time. School's out, so Jim's got some time. I got some other things I'm working on. I'm going to start having insurance, life insurance videos coming up on this channel. It's not on this channel, but another channel from this channel. And people coming on asking questions. I'm going to have professionals on. We're going to just have live, and it's going to be very popular. You can call in if you have any questions about your insurance, your policies, anything, your premiums, and the way the industry is working. We're going to have some good people on here. Do-it-yourself insurance. Do DIY life insurance. DIY life in ins.com. I'm building that website. Because I think it's important for people to have something for their family and their kids and their mom or the dad to look back on in case something happens. And shit fucking happens. I'm just telling you. And I want people to be protected. And then there's all kinds of different insurance policies out there that you can get. And I do know that pretty soon there's going to be a health care plan brought out by Trump going through the Republicans. And it's going to fucking just demolish, because that's the way Trump works. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it big. This is the way the man fucking rolls. Just tirelessly. You can't fucking keep up with the guy, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's exciting and it's good. And I'm happy for the country. I know there's some thin lines out there you've got to be on, and you got to walk across, some pinnacles and some cliffs for him to get what he needs for this country. But the guy's doing it. The guy's fucking doing it. And he's been shot at, tried to be killed, who knows how many fucking times. All because there's a bunch of greedy people and we're taking the money away from them. That's all. That's what's happening. All right. Aloha. Thank you for being here. This is James with